The evening rain had left a sheen on the cobblestone streets, reflecting the dim glow of the street lamps. Kiran sat in a cozy corner of his dimly lit apartment, the faint hum of a newly acquired vinyl record player filling the room with a soft crackle. He was always enchanted by the authenticity of vinyl, the way it captured the soul of a song, unfiltered and raw. It was the kind of authenticity he feared was slipping away, like sand through his fingers, in an age dominated by artificial intelligence. As the needle touched down, the warm notes of a jazz saxophone filled the small room. This was Kiran's sanctuary, a place where he could close his eyes and let the music carry him to a world where every note had a purpose, every pause a meaning. But tonight, an unshakable sense of unease clouded the music's usual solace. Earlier that day, Kiran had stumbled upon a digital conversation online, one that had tugged at his love for music and twisted it in ways he never thought possible. People were raving about an AI-generated song that mimicked his favorite artist flawlessly, yet the artist himself had no part in creating it. It was all so eerie, how these artificial notes almost mocked the artist's genuine emotion. The song, while stunningly close, was a hollow mimicry, a doll with no soul. Outside, the rain continued its rhythmic fall, but inside, Kiran wrestled with the growing complexity of a world where reality and simulation blurred. Could these digital approximations replace the artists he had come to revere, who poured their souls into every piece of music they crafted? The thought left him cold, and so began Kiran's journey, not just through music, but into the very heart of authenticity. The more he listened to the AI-generated music, the more its perfection seemed to mock what he truly valued, the imperfections, the nuances that made art human. In the weeks that followed, Kiran couldn't shake the feeling that something was quietly slipping away from the world, like a melody fading into silence. His conversations grew more intense, and he often found himself playing devil's advocate, questioning his own discomfort with AI in creative spaces. But every time he picked up his guitar or adjusted the needle on his record player, he returned to the same reflection. Art had always been a dialogue, a dance between creator and audience, a dance he feared might soon be led by artificial hands. Kiran remembered an evening spent with his friend Maya, under the stars in their favorite little bar, where local musicians shared pieces of their souls with patrons who came to listen. One particular night, the air was charged with the vibrancy of new talent, young voices spilling stories through melodies. But even there, the shadow of AI loomed. A performer nervously confessed that his latest set was partially AI composed. The room had fallen into an uneasy silence. "That changes everything, doesn't it?" Maya had whispered, her eyes reflecting the twinkling fairy lights strung across the bar. "I mean, it's not just about music anymore. It's about control and the loss of an artist's true voice." Kiran nodded, understanding the weight of her words. This wasn't just about music. It was about the very essence of creation, about truth becoming entwined with illusion. The thought of programmers, unseen, unvoiced, crafting narratives and emotions that belonged to others, gnawed at him. It felt deceptive, as if pulling the audience's strings from behind a curtain of algorithms. He couldn't help but wonder what was truly at stake. Was it just the integrity of an art form he loved, or was it something deeper, a tug-of-war for the soul of human expression? One evening, while tinkering on his old acoustic guitar, Kiran was struck by a realization. Art had always been a reflection of human stories, woven from the fabric of lived experience. The thought of an artist, stripped of their narrative, manipulated by unseen codes and keys, felt like a profound loss. In his mind's eye, Kiran saw a world where AI creations could easily sway public perception of an artist. A world where falsehoods, cleverly disguised as genuine songs and stories, might lead people down paths they never intended to walk. What did it mean, he wondered, when listeners accepted these synthetic pieces as gospel truths? But out of this tangled web of doubt and fear, a new clarity emerged. It was not merely the perfection of AI that threatened the future, but the possibility of surrendering the human touch that imbued art with real significance. Could listeners, like him, find it within themselves to cherish the genuine, to seek out the unpolished and raw expressions that only a human could create? In the dim glow of his apartment, Kiran reached for his guitar, the cool strings familiar beneath his fingers. He played as the rain drummed gently against the windows, the music a reminder of the binding power of real emotions, a force that no machine could truly replicate. In music, and perhaps in life, Kiran found himself drawn again and again to the idea of choice. Everyone had the power to choose what resonated with them. AI might mimic, might even inspire, but it could never replace the warmth of a heartbeat caught uniquely in the cadence of a song. As the needle lifted from the record's groove and silence reclaimed the room, Kiran knew the journey was just beginning. The tension between progress and tradition, between imitation and originality, was a dialogue the world would continue to navigate. Yet he held on to the hope that each of us, armed with awareness and a discerning ear, could keep the true melody alive. In the end, it was the conversations born from these small acts, his fingers on strings, voices of artists struggling to be heard above the din of machines, that would shape the future. Perhaps the story of art and AI was not one of loss but of evolving harmony, where technology and humanity danced together, each holding space for the other's truth. And so, in the quiet aftermath, with shadows lengthening along the walls, Kiran reclined and allowed himself to dream of that future, a world where every note, every word mattered not just as a sound, but as a heartbeat, eternally and unequivocally human. He imagined a vibrant tapestry woven from threads of both tradition and innovation, where creativity knew no bounds and the symphony of existence played on, unbounded and freely. Yet, as he reclined, those dreams also carried with them the weight of responsibility. The narratives we craft, the dialogues we engage in, matter immensely. They serve as compass points, steering the ship of humanity through the fog of change. The fusion of artificial intelligence and artistic creation is something that demands our careful curation. We must remain vigilant, examining closely the impact of our technological advances on the essence of what it means to be human. Art in its truest form speaks to the depths of the soul, an expression of joy, love, struggle, triumph, and everything in between. It's a reflection of humanity's deepest longings and the stories we wish to tell. Kiran knew that the future was not something to fear, but something to shape. He envisioned a world where artists were empowered by technology, not replaced, where AI served as a tool to amplify human creativity, not overshadow it. This delicate balance was the key, an intricate dance where both partners led and followed in turn. He smiled softly, sitting in the gentle glow of his thoughts, and resolved to champion this vision, to guide both the hopeful and the skeptical towards a new understanding. Because in the end, it's the blending of past, present, and future, of humanity and machine, that will write the next chapter in the story of art.